When our politicians sold us the idea of multiculturalism, they said that diversity is our strength. Multiculturalism enriches us. The people of Western countries were hoodwinked, they were gaslit, they were sold a very rosy picture, which, as it turns out, was nothing short of a nightmare. Have a look at this. So I was just reading a statistic somewhere that in the year 2000, there were only 500,000 Muslims throughout. Sorry, I was reading the statistic somewhere that in the year 2000, there were only 500,000 Muslims across Europe, including the UK. Only 500,000. Guess what the number is now? 23 million. 23. They've added 22.5 million people in the last 25 years. And we all know how that has happened. It's not just illegal migration. It's legal migration. This is replacement. And what's the consequence of that? This is Paris. They're happy rioting. They're happy. This is Birmingham. This is Birmingham. Nothing English about that. This is England's biggest city. This is an invasion. Look at the side-by-side of Brussels that I created.
See.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This is criminal. Look at Brussels before diversity hit it, and look at it after it got enriched. It's the same all across Europe. This is London. The point that I'm trying to make is that they said that they will integrate and assimilate and everything will be fine. But what actually ended up happening? Have a look at this. This is London. This is London. You have not only imported people from other cultures, you have also imported their grievances, their disputes, their fights, their cultural problems. Have a look at this. This is Tower Hamlets. And I wouldn't tell you what's going on. I'll tell you after. You'll probably see what is going on. Have a look. You know what's happening? There's no far right involved. It's got nothing to do with white people. It's got nothing to do with British people. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. They're all Bengalis. They're all Bangladeshi, sorry. They're fighting over their domestic politics. I don't understand their domestic politics, but apparently they have two rival political factions. One of them is called Awami League, and the other one is something else. I don't know what it's called. Jamaat Islami. So they have their left and right feud playing out on the streets of London. These are Bangladeshis fighting with each other because a politician from one of the political parties came here and the other side said, no, we don't like this politician. That's what's happening. That's not it. Look at this. This happened nearly 2 years ago in Leicester. Hindus and Muslims are fighting with each other because, you know, Indians and Pakistanis hate each other. This was after a cricket match. I don't know who won, either India won or Pakistan won. And then they started rioting. I think Hindus were not at fault here, but if you're a Brit, you don't care about that. You don't care who's at fault. These disputes, these feuds should not be playing out on the streets of England. What did the people of Britain get out of that? You were told that these people are going to enrich you. They're going to make your life experience even better. They're going to be doctors and engineers. They're going to serve the community. Well, this is what they're doing. Look at this. This is London again. This is a fresh video. This is London. They're celebrating. I think the British Pakistanis, they're celebrating whatever they're celebrating. Look at that. No care in the world. Fireworks going up. What is this? Did they get a permit for it? No. Even though they're born and raised there, I don't know if they are, but even though if they're born and raised there, they have no respect for British laws, for British customs, British traditions. And oh, there you go. This is basically the look on every British person's face. Not only, actually, I'm sure the French and the Germans are not looking any different either. This guy is watching his country go down the drain because of the decisions made by politicians of yesteryears. Actually, even today's politicians, they haven't course corrected. And they are not going to course correct because they don't care. They just don't care. They don't have a political mandate. That's why Shabana Mahmood, even though she said that she's going to crack down on illegal migration, but nothing happened. Boats are still turning up. British taxpayers' pounds are still going towards housing them, feeding them, looking after them. And in all the while, they're stabbing, draining the resources that should be going towards the British people. That's what's happening. That's what you signed up for, apparently. Well, we do live in democracy, so we are all culpable to some extent, which is why I'm a little bit hopeful, because Australia is waking up just at the right time. Pauline Hanson just led the poll for Australia's preferred Prime Minister. I know the UK is ready for reform and hopefully restore, and hopefully there will be some sort of a coalition later on, because none of our countries, especially the UK, cannot afford 5 more years of mainstream political parties. Not even the Tories. They can't survive. This is it. As far as England is concerned, as far as the UK is concerned, this is literally their last dance. Australia, we might be able to suffer 3 more years of, let's say, no, we can't. We definitely can't survive 3 more years of Labor, because Labor will actually be emboldened. They've been bringing in 500,000 people every year since COVID ended. 500,000 fresh migrants. Crime is through the roof. Stabbings are through the roof. Cultural deterioration is happening on a scale that is alarming a lot of people, which is why a lot of Aussies are waking up. You have to wake up. It's actually criminal now not to wake up. How can anyone see this happen to their country and not do anything about it? Australia is not that far off either. This is Sydney. This is a Sydney shopping centre. Look at this. Why do they always chant like this? Why do they always chant religious slogans? This is a religious war for them. And they've been emboldened by our politicians. Our politicians have basically told them that it's okay. We're here you don't have to change. You don't have to assimilate. We're here. We're happy. We accept you for who you are. This is our Home Affairs Minister, Tony Burke. Look at him.
The concept of immigration is people, when they come to Australia, want to be part of Australia. That's what people want. And I've never accepted the word assimilation. I don't want people to lose who they are. The word integration is one that's being used as part of a multicultural dialogue for a very long time. And that's what it is. Like, we want people for who they are. I've never subscribed to that sort of melting pot concept that your whole identity is meant to be dissolved.
That's why. These people don't have to change. They're under no pressure or obligation to change. They can roam through our streets, our shopping centers, chanting medieval religious slogans, and our politicians say it's perfectly fine. It's okay. I've got more. Look at this. This is our Prime Minister. He's saying everyone's fine. These people that you saw, those people produced the Bondi Beach terrorists.
I wonder what the distinction between Australians and migrants is.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen that used before in a country like ours.
Yeah.
In
Look
a
at her.
country like ours.
She's nodding.
You know, we have people who are in senior positions in our government, in business, you know, some of the giants of business in this country came here as refugees and as migrants. Are they separate from Australians?
They always show you the select few good ones, and they always hide these ones. It's not, we don't have to accept this. It didn't used to be like this. They're trying to normalize this. Look at this.
Good evening. Violent thugs have run riot on Port Melbourne's busiest street, hunting down and attacking two unarmed men. The gang used a metal pole and a sledgehammer in...
Can't play this, but yeah, all African gangs. So the Islamists are saying that they want to have Sharia in Australia, like this guy.
That there is a Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala waiting to be established. We forget that every single day that we live without the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are being dishonored. We are being belittled. The blood of the Muslims have become cheap.
So we have Islamists wanting Sharia. They want to overthrow Australian democracy. And then we have violent African gangs stabbing, hacking, raping, pillaging people on our streets. And somehow we're just supposed to accept it because our Prime Minister, the worst Prime Minister in Australia's history, he says that it's all normal. Australia will never be the way it used to be when it became the best country in the world, the lucky country.
We need to be vigilant. There are some, including some in political life, want to turn back the clock to an Australia that is no longer who we are.
Yeah, no longer who we are now. You know, African gangs, Islamists running amok, stabbings, shootings, mass shootings. That's who we are now. That's our new identity. I'm sorry. No, we shouldn't accept this. No way.